Are you sick of hearing advice like buy assets, invest in real estate, or make money work for you when you can't even afford rent? You've read the books, you've listened to the financial gurus, and you've probably seen the same flashy tips repeated over and over. But here's the cold hard truth. Financial advice, like what you find in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, sounds amazing if you already have money. But what about the rest of us? What about the middle class, struggling to make ends meet? What about the working poor, drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck and juggling multiple jobs just to survive? If that's you, know this: you are not alone, and you're not failing because you don't buy enough assets or invest smartly. You're failing because the system is stacked against you. In this video, we're going to break down why Rich Dad, Poor Dad fails real people like you. The real, actionable financial steps that anyone, no matter how broke or overwhelmed, can use to start changing their financial future step by step. This isn't fantasy advice. This is real talk for real people. If you're ready to take control of your finances, face your debt head-on, and escape the poverty trap, stick around, because this is the financial truth that no one else will tell you.
Why Rich Dad, Poor Dad fails real people.
Let's start with one of the most popular personal finance books of all time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book claims to teach you the secrets to getting rich by buying assets, not liabilities. User reviews: avoiding traditional jobs that trade time for money, investing in real estate or businesses to create passive income. Now, on the surface, this advice sounds inspiring, and to be fair, it's not wrong. If you already have money, this strategy can help you grow it. But here's the problem. Rich Dad, Poor Dad doesn't address the real challenges faced by the average person today. It doesn't speak to someone starting from zero, or worse, someone buried in debt. Let's break this down further. 1. It's written for the privileged. How are you supposed to buy assets when you have nothing left after paying for basic survival? Let's be real. Most middle-class and poor families are spending every dollar on rent, groceries, utilities, gas, and childcare. Saving even $10 feels like a struggle. Imagine this. You're living paycheck to paycheck, your bills are piling up, and you're barely keeping the lights on. Then someone tells you, just buy assets. It's like telling someone to start investing in stocks when they can't afford dinner. It's not practical advice. It's tone deaf. Not everyone starts from a level playing field. If you come from generational wealth, great. If you're scraping by, that advice is useless. 2. It ignores the debt crisis. Many of the biggest flaws in Rich Dad, Poor Dad is that it doesn't address the reality of debt. Today, most people are drowning in credit card debt with insane interest rates, 20% or higher. Student loans that take decades to pay off, even with careful planning. Payday loans that trap the most vulnerable people in cycles of poverty. 7. Let's break this down. Michael, if you're carrying a $5,000 credit card balance at 20% interest, you're paying $1,000 per year in interest alone. That's money you could have used for food, rent, or savings. Student loans are crippling an entire generation. You spend years chasing an education only to be saddled with tens of thousands of dollars in debt. And then, you can't find a job that pays enough to escape it. What does Rich Dad, Poor Dad say about this? Nothing. It assumes you can magically skip past debt and start buying houses. But that's not how the real world works. End of section 7. 3. It's outdated in today's economy. When Kiyosaki wrote this book in the late 1990s, the world was a very different place. Back then, housing was affordable. You could buy a home for 2-3 times your salary. Wages kept pace with the cost of living. Education was seen as the great equalizer, and college was accessible to many. Fast forward to today, housing prices have skyrocketed, especially in cities. Rent alone eats up half of many people's paychecks. Wages have stagnated, while inflation keeps driving up prices for everything: groceries, fuel, rent, and healthcare. Education is no longer accessible. College tuition costs have exploded, leaving many without options or drowning in debt. Let's be honest. Rich Dad, Poor Dad doesn't address any of these realities. It's a book written for a world that no longer exists.
Biggest issue with financial planning for part.
But don't lose hope, because here's the truth. You don't need to be rich to start fixing your finances. You just need a game plan that works in the real world. Here are 8 practical step-by-step strategies for anyone who feels trapped by debt, poverty, or low income. Step 1. Track every dollar. Most people don't realize where their money goes. Start by writing down every single expense. You'll see patterns that surprise you, small leaks that drain your wallet. Use tools like Mint, YNAB, or even a simple notebook. Step 2. Use the 50/30/20 budget rule. 50% for essentials, rent, food, bills. 30% for wants, entertainment, dining out. Cut this to 0 if needed. Exercising, lifting weights, pressure card scoring. 20% for debt repayment and savings. 20% for savings and saving. This gives you clarity and control. Step 3. Build a $500 emergency fund. Sell what you don't need. Cancel subscriptions. Get ruthless. A small safety net can stop you from falling deeper into debt when emergencies hit. Step 4. Crush debt with the Snowball method. List your debts from smallest to largest. Pay off the smallest first to build momentum. Roll those payments into the next debt and repeat. This method works because small wins keep you motivated. Step 5. Increase your income with side hustles. Freelance on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. Drive for Uber or DoorDash. Learn free skills like coding, writing, or graphic design on YouTube. Step 6. Live below your means. Ruthlessly. Cut out luxuries, even temporarily. Cook at home. Use public transportation. Every dollar saved is a step toward freedom. Step 7. Automate your savings. Even $1 a day adds up. Use savings apps like Acorns that round up your spare change and invest it for you. Step 8. Keep learning. Read books like The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey and Your Money or Your Life. Education is your weapon against poverty. Look, escaping poverty isn't easy. It takes discipline, sacrifices, and small, consistent steps. But it is possible. In our next video, we'll reveal the best side hustles and free skills you can learn today to start earning more, even if you're starting with 0. Mechanical engineering. The joy of learning about something else other than work. If you're ready to take control of your money, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because this channel is here to give you real advice that works for real people just like you.